Dear friends, hello again. We are here with another video for 11th grade students, and this is our workbook of Cambridge Think B1. If you have the book, please open the page one. Which page? I forget. Let me check and tell you. We are in which page here? 109 of workbook. We are going to do the first part of 109. Let's do it together. So, what are we going to do? In this lesson, in these exercises that we are going to do, we are going to talk about third conditional sentences. Maybe in the past, before also you heard about it or we did it together, the third conditional sentences. But now we are going to do some exercises, more exercises to understand it better. Look at here. First, I want to tell you when we are going to use third conditional sentences. We use third conditional sentences with some unreal situations, unreal events, something that is unreal in the past. So, when something is unreal in the past, the consequence, the result is also going to be imaginary or imaginary and also not real. Yes, when something is unreal, for example, I told you if I had $1 billion, I would have bought an airplane. So, I know that you know that in the past I didn't have $1 million. So, the consequences is going to be unreal, imaginary. I couldn't buy an airplane. Yes, so, and what is the construction? What is the structure of making a third conditional? In the if clause, we use if plus past perfect, means had plus past participle form of the verb. If I had $1 million, and in the second part, in the result clause, we use would or would not plus have plus past participle form of the verb. I would have done this. I wouldn't have done this. Yes? Okay, let's hear. We will understand it better. Don't worry. Here we are going to match texts 0 to 5 with sentences A to F. We are going to read it. We were the better team and the score was 2-1 to us. We had another 3 minutes to play and I was so nervous. Then I cuffed the ball with my hands right in front of our goal. So, what do you think? Come here. We are going to match them. Yes, first. Okay, so I'm going to read all of them and then match them. My mom told me I should be careful with my money, but I didn't think. I spent it all on sweets and after a week it was all gone. I was 3 years old. I knew I wasn't allowed to climb the ladder in my granddad's garden, but I did and I had a bad accident. They were late for the train. They are run as fast as they could, but missed it and had to wait for 2 hours. It was awful. I didn't want to hurt Pat, but I was so stressed out. She asked me if I could help her, and I gave her a very unfriendly answer. I'm sorry that I woke you up, Lily. I didn't know you were ill. So, these are texts 0 to 5. Now we are going to match them here with A to F. If they had started earlier, they wouldn't have got home so late. Look at here, if clause, if they had started, past perfect, they wouldn't have got, would, have plus past participle, they wouldn't have got. So, which one is this? This is number 3. Why? They were late for the train, they ran as fast as they could but missed it. Again, they ran fast but they missed the train and had to wait for 2 hours. So, here, if they had started earlier, because they were late, because of that they missed the train and they should wait for 2 hours. And what did it say here? If they had started earlier, they wouldn't have got home so late. Because of that, number 3 is matched with A. I had have been friendlier if I had been more relaxed. Which one is this? This is number 4. It was awful. I didn't want to hurt Pat, but I was so stressed out. Means I had so stressed. She asked me if I could help her and I gave her a very unfriendly answer. So this is matched with V. Why? I had have been friendlier. I had have been friendlier if I had been more relaxed. Yes, so because here I wasn't that much friendlier, I gave her an unfriendly answer. So I should be more friendlier. He wouldn't have broken his leg if he hadn't done that. He wouldn't have, look at here, would not plus have, his leg if he hadn't, past perfect, done that. If he hadn't done that. Match with 2. Yes, what is 2? I was 3 years old. I knew I wasn't allowed to climb the ladder in my granddad's garden, but I did and I had a bad accident. So he wouldn't have broken his leg because he didn't listen to anybody, climbed from the ladder and broke his leg. So he wouldn't have broken. This is unreal, yes, because it happened in the past. Just we imagine an uncertain thing. Because of that, we use third conditional sentence here. He wouldn't have broken his leg if he hadn't done that. Here, if he hadn't touched the ball with his hands, his team would have won. 0. Yes, what is 0? We were the better team and the score was 2-1 to us. We had another 3 minutes to play and I was so nervous. Then I cuffed the ball with my hands right in front of our goal. So it's matched with D, yes? If he hadn't touched the ball with his hand, look at here again, past perfect, his team would have won. Something happened in the past, yes? We cannot change it. So now we are talking about something unreal. If he hadn't touched the ball with his hands, but he already had done it, yes? So we are talking about unreal. His team would have won. If she had listened, she wouldn't have bought all those sweets. It matches with number 1, yes? My mom told me I should be careful with my money, but I didn't think. I spent it all on sweets and after a week it was all gone. So my mother told me in the past, it's finished, yes? Now, so we are talking about unreal situation. If she had listened, but she didn't listen, yes, we know it. If she had listened, she wouldn't have bought all those sweets. She wouldn't have rung her so early if somebody had told her about the situation. And this matches with number 5. I'm sorry that I woke you up, Lily. I didn't know you were ill. Yes, so she wouldn't have rung, but she did it. Yes, she rang it. I wouldn't have rung her so early if somebody had told her about the situation. She didn't know, because of that she rang it. But it's not going to be something changed. Yes, we talked about unreal thing. So, now come here, complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb. Because the grammar is again about the third conditional sentences, we have to be careful about making our sentences. If I had started to play the piano a few years ago, look at here, had started, yes? It's the past perfect. If I had started to play, I would have played that concert. We are talking about something unreal, yes? In the past, I hadn't started to play the piano. I didn't know it. So the consequence result is going to be imaginary. So I wouldn't have played. But we make it like this sentence. Again with if clause. If I had read my emails this morning, I had answered you straight away. If I had read, I would have answered you straight away. If it had been warmer day, look at here, the sentence starts with if clause, yes? If plus past perfect. So here we need to use would plus have plus our past participle form of the verb. If it had been warmer, they would have eaten it in the garden. If it had been warmer, they would have eaten. Our way, look at here, the if clause here came in the second part. So in the first part, we need to write sentences start with would. We wouldn't have lost, past participle form of the lose is lost. We wouldn't have lost our way if the snap have worked. But because it didn't have work, it's something unreal. Yes, we would have lost our way. And number 4. If I, again start with if. So if the sentence in the third conditional start with if, we need to write past perfect. Yes, if I hadn't studied so much, I wouldn't have written a good test. So it means that in the past if I hadn't studied, but the sentence told us that I had studied. Yes, if I hadn't studied so much, I wouldn't have written a good test. Would you have lost the match? Look at here, we have if here in the second part. So again here we need to write the past perfect. Would you have lost the match if you hadn't been so nervous? Past participle form of the be. And number 6, the bike if the price hadn't been so slow. So here the if clause is written, yes, the price hadn't been so slow, so we need to write here would plus have plus our verb, yes, past participle form of the verb. He wouldn't have bought the bike if the price hadn't been so low. If Maya's friends had phoned her, look at here, had phoned her, here we need again. Here, well, look at here, we have question mark, yes? So we need to write here the question form of would. Would she have joined them? Would she have joined them if Maya's friends had phoned her? Would she have joined them? So this is another part of this grammar. Let's go here, what we have in the second part. Write third conditional sentences again. Look at the first one example. On Sunday it was raining, so Talha got up late. If it hadn't been raining, Talha wouldn't have got up late. So we need to change the sentences to write them with the same meaning but in the third conditional form. He didn't hear the phone. Emre didn't talk to him. He didn't hear the phone. So what is the answer? Look at here. If he had heard the phone, he didn't. Yes, he didn't hear it. But we want to make it to third conditional for imaginary, yes, unreal situation. If he had heard the phone in the past, Emre would have talked to him. If clause past perfect, this one would plus have plus past participle because it's something about the unreal. We change this situation with these sentences with the same meaning but in the third conditional form. Number 2, Talha was on his own all afternoon. He was bored. So we want to change it. What is the answer? Look at here. If Talha hadn't been on his own, he was. Yes, look at here. It's something interesting. Yes, the sentence here is positive because it's about something in the past. But when we want to change it to third conditional form, something unreal, imaginary thing, we need to write it in the negative form. Why? Because if something like this happened, he wasn't bored. He wasn't bored, yes? So something like this, we are imagining just. If Talha hadn't been on his own all afternoon, he wouldn't have been bored. But because here the sentences, look at here, started with negative form, we write the third conditional sentences in the positive. So please be careful about these things. Again here, look at here, our sentences here is positive, yes? He went to bed at 6 p.m., he woke up at midnight. So when we want to write it, look at here, the conditional form of this sentence is going to be negative because we want to change it, yes? He went to bed, then he woke up at midnight. So if he hadn't gone to bed at 6 p.m., yes, positive, negative, he wouldn't have woken up at midnight, yes? If something like this hadn't happened, he wouldn't have woken up at midnight, yes? We change the meaning just to make it to the unreal situation. Number 4. He didn't go back to sleep. He was tired on Monday. So he didn't. Again, here we have negative. So in the third conditional, we are going to write it in the positive form, yes? If he had gone back to sleep, he wouldn't have been tired. Look at here, here negative, here positive. If he had gone back to sleep, he was tired, he wouldn't have been tired on Monday. Yes, so these are some very small points. Please be careful about them. But by practicing all the time, by practicing with your friends, with yourself, with writing some sentences, you will understand it better. He was tired. He found the maths test difficult. Here is positive, yes? So if he hadn't been tired, he wouldn't have found the maths test difficult, yes? Positive here, negative. If he hadn't been tired, but he was tired, yes? We know that he was tired. He wouldn't have found the math test difficult, but he found the math test difficult. So this is real, unreal situation. So the consequence is also imaginary. And the last one, Tala got a bad mark. His teacher was disappointed. Got a bad mark. So if Tala hadn't got a bad mark, his teacher wouldn't have been disappointed. But his teacher was disappointed. So something happened. But when we want to change it to third conditional as something unreal, you are going to write it. You should write it like this. So if Tala hadn't got a bad mark, his teacher wouldn't have been disappointed. So we talked about and we practiced, we did some exercises about third conditional sentences. It's not that much difficult, just you need a little practice, just you have to do some more exercises. And if you have any question, tell me, I will answer. I hope it was useful for you, you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening and watching, and see you soon in other videos next week.